Welcome back, my nomads. Welcome back to another Bitcast. I'm back here with Zach. How's it going, Zach?
Hey man, how you doing? How was your week?
It was dope, man. It was dope. Pretty busy week. Got another busy one coming up. Going to be working on an indie project here. How's your week, man?
It was all right. Busy. I'm going to Seattle next week for a few days on for work,
Nice,
and
nice.
my wife's family comes into town, and yeah, I don't need to talk about that.
Nice, nice. Let's get to the nitty and gritty, though. Quite a few
Yeah, giving me
trailers
some
to talk
awful
about.
stuff, by the way, to watch. Stupid. Makes no
This
sense.
guy, this guy. Well, let's get to the trailers first. Um, let's talk about Captain America. Let's start on a high note. Captain America: Brave New World. What'd you think?
I liked it. I like Harrison Ford as the president. I think that's cool.
hmm You know
Um,
he's you know what his character is?
like, what do you mean? Like he's the president?
He's what's it called? William Hurt's character.
Oh, right, because I just noticed that. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah. They recast him, because you know, R.I.P. He passed
Oh
away.
yeah, he bit the bullet.
And I remember at the time people were asking like, why are you recasting him instead of T'Challa? I mean, that's a whole different conversation. I see why they recast um, William Hurt's character. His name
Well, you
escapes me
have
right
to,
now.
right?
Yeah, you got to.
You
It's
kind of have to because he's part of the whole story premise, right? So it it makes sense. It's probably going to be the grand reveal that he's the bad guy in the end, Hydra something, right? Just how it
well,
always
you
is.
know
But
that at the end of the trailer they show Red Hulk, and in the comics, um, William Hurt's character is Red Hulk.
yeah, but it's
So
Giancarlo Esposito, right?
yeah, he looks like to be a villain, and but I don't know which way the Red Hulk is going to be. If he's going to be neutral, if he's going to be on the good guy's side, if he's going to be the bad guy's side. We
They need
don't
to
know.
figure out the villain stuff quick, right? Because I think with Jonathan Majors, just like that whole thing's done, and they didn't recast him as Giancarlo Esposito's character, act, his thing. It's going to turn down to like, okay, so what are we doing? We're going to do Con still, which they have to. I feel like they've invested so much into it. Or they could do like the Star Wars thing where they make someone a big bad guy. He ends up being nothing because he just gets killed off, right?
Yeah,
Do a retcon
yeah,
halfway through the series.
yeah. Disney Star Wars. We got to make that distinction.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
not much different than Marvel. It seems like right now.
shit.
No,
Yeah.
but Giancarlo Esposito, like when you bring someone in like that, it's not going to be bad.
And the thing about it too is he was a late hire. All
Yes.
the most of he was only included in the reshoot, so it's like last minute they added Jean Carlo Esposito, and this trailer just dropped today. So I'm surprised that
Damn.
they already have him in the trailer.
That's what I'm saying. Like you said, you were reshooting. It wasn't even that long ago,
Yeah,
and I'm like, they started reshooting. Man, they worked fast. I think they just didn't want to put this movie off any longer, and because you know how
yeah.
reshoots take. What was that movie with? It was Kevin Spacey who was the bad guy, and then Christopher Plummer was the one that, and they reshot the entire movie.
Oh, with Mark Wahlberg.
It was
I
about
think
the
it was a Ridley
Gettys or
Scott
something.
picture. Yeah, it was about like white collar crime or some shit like that.
Yeah, they
Damn,
reshot that whole movie in like 10 months,
the
like total from
whole
reshooting it
movie.
and editing and all that stuff because they didn't want to
Yeah,
push it off because Kevin Spacey went through that whole Me Too stuff, right?
and
um,
the minor stuff.
oh well, yeah, that's besides the point. I wasn't gonna bring that up, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
He, but still, like that's an undertaking. Like you're doing a movie, you're doing a whole new movie essentially in 10 months.
Yeah, that's
That's
that's crazy. And so we don't know how many scenes they had to reshoot, but I didn't see the movie, but I'm
the
guessing it was
entire
a
movie. The entire
very
movie had to be redone, all of it,
that's a
because he was literally in like 95% of the scenes.
jeez. Damn, bro,
Well,
that's a
what are you going to do? Like
you
you
have
were in
no
a lose
choice.
lose situation at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the amount of money you would have lost in the theaters if you had that guy in there versus the cost to reshoot everything.
Even if you
It's a
shelve it,
wash.
even if you shelve it, people don't realize when you shelve a movie, that costs money too. So,
Like that Wile E. Coyote movie, right?
oh yeah. What's it called? Warner Brothers is still trying to sell. What is going on with Warner Brothers, man? They're selling everything left and right. People were
Mm-hmm.
just texting me the other day. They're like, "Why is this new Batman animated series movie coming out on Prime instead of Max?" And I was like,
They're selling. They're
"Because they
not selling.
sold it,
They're leasing the rights,
but they sold the series."
right?
Yeah, so it's like, why wouldn't you just put it on Max? I mean, you already created the series
Because
itself.
the series, because if you put it on Max, that's not enticing people to sign up for Max, right? Like if you have a liquidity issue, what's that going to do? Like you've already saturated the market with your product. So I mean, the only way to do it to make money is to lease it, or in this case, just sell the rights for this particular series to Amazon.
Oh, and by the way, that movie we were talking about that Christopher Plummer replaced Kevin Spacey, it was called All the Money in the World.
Yes, it's a
Came out in
fantastic movie.
2017.
It was a great movie.
Oh yeah, it is
Yeah,
the
dude,
Getty.
that's the year of
The
Me
Getty's
Too,
right.
bro. I mean, that's yeah, it coincides with everything.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it was about the Gettys. I'm trying to remember. I think it
yeah,
was,
it
but
was
it's
the
besides
Gettys.
the point. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Gettys.
Um, Christopher Plummer,
But
dude. You
yeah,
want to talk about an actor that no one wants to talk about ever? Like, come on, this dude's like. If I had to think of 10 dudes to think of a movie and I had a limited budget, he would be in there.
who? Kevin Spacey.
No, it's Christopher Plummer,
Oh,
Kevin Spacey. Give me a break. He would be. He's a great bad guy, though. Oh man.
I mean,
In Horrible
he's
Bosses, how much of a prick can you be in Horrible Bosses? He was horrendous.
I mean, I guess because he's made a career off of being bad guy, so I guess he is true to
In
form.
Seven,
You know.
remember in Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, he was the killer. Um,
Yeah. I mean, the fact that in the end it turns out he's also one of the great deadly sins, one of the seven deadly sins, envy, and because of that, he goes through such a great movie. I mean, it's amazing. And I remember, I forgot the director's name, David Fincher, or was it David Lynch? I always get those mixed up.
it's
But
not David. That's not a David Lynch movie. We know David Lynch movies.
right, right, right.
Nothing
And the
oozes David
studio was
Lynch in a
giving him
movie like
pushback.
that.
The studio was giving him pushback and to about the ending. They didn't want that to happen, and he was like,
Oh,
"No,
Brad
that's
Pitt
just."
actually like commit like he had to. He killed his wife.
I think
We're
the studio didn't even
digressing,
want the wife's
but
face in the box or something like that too.
why?
So I don't know, man. They
How would have it ended in their perfect world? Brad Pitt just like arrests him and that's it.
yeah, that's probably what they wanted to do, like a clean cut, like a clean cut procedural officer thing. He doesn't kill him. Like he just arrests him. But nah, man, like that movie still rings in people's heads and hits as hard as it does because of that ending, man. Like, and just the way Morgan Freeman's character was like, "Don't open the box. Don't open." Like,
Or he knew. He
ooh.
knew. Um, I
Great
feel
movie.
the thing is we don't have movies like that. It's just so original and it lures you in, right? And it does like a full circle.
We don't
Um,
have them to a bigger scale like that anymore. Like now, you got to go on a streamer and find something like that.
or a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's going that dark yet, though.
What do you
Give it
mean?
time.
What's the one with Guy Pearce? This first one he did,
Oh,
where everything was reverse.
yeah. Sickle. I can't think today, man. But that was a great movie. I know what you're talking
That
about.
was Memento.
Memento, yes,
That's
great
what it was.
movie,
Yeah,
and
I didn't
you
even
can
look it up.
watch
Yeah,
it
no,
in
that was
his cut,
dark.
and you can also watch it in chronological order too. But
Chronological order makes more sense.
it was kind of, I don't know. Christopher Nolan has this obsession with taking chopping up a story and then just rearranging it in the most like convoluted way that it's just like, bro, just
He even
do
did that in
start to finish.
Batman. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, he did. People didn't
And
notice it, but he did do that in Batman.
no, yes, he did do it in Batman. You can tell, especially when like
Yeah,
Liam Neeson's character and he turns out to be Ra's al Ghul and stuff. It's like, oh, here we go. And you could like it's so disjointed in so many ways. But I think that's just the course of his movies, right? Like you kind of know going in, this is what to expect.
yeah. As soon as the movie start, you're probably like, I'm probably watching the third half of the movie. This is probably beginning like
In
this.
James
Maybe this is
Bond,
the
when he
end.
does James Bond, it's going to probably be like how it was with Skyfall. You know what I
I
mean?
thought that was a rumor though. I don't think he's doing James Bond.
You sure?
Yeah, let me check that out because I thought that was a rumor. James Bond. Let's see. And he's been in discussions. Oh, he debunked it. He said there's no truth to the rumors that he's gonna direct the next one. So, eh,
He could be
yeah,
lying.
he could be, but I doubt it. I
Yeah.
doubt it. I think, but I don't think his directing style is a Bond style. Not to mention the way he does his films. I don't think
See, he
studios are gonna let
debunked
him.
this. Here's the thing: he debunked this back in November of last year. But
Hmm.
literally a couple months ago, he opened up and talked about how he wants to do a James Bond movie.
I don't think they would let him. I think that's why he did Tenet. I think that's was his version of James Bond, like a
He should.
globe-trotting, like
Well,
shooting. And I don't think his style is what they want. The Broccoli's want. His is, like we said, he's a convoluted storyteller. You know, he does great movies, but sometimes his movies are just like Dunkirk. I know people love it, but for me, it was just so all over the place.
yeah, and that was historical.
Tenet too. I know, right? It's like you had to watch a documentary just to get Dunkirk, man. Because it
Uh,
was just like so
so he
much. Like,
wants to do. Since we're talking about him real fast, hold on. He wants to remake
mhm.
The Prisoner.
Okay. For a second, I thought you meant Denis Villeneuve's The Prisoners, but no, which is a great movie. But what is The
It's a
Prisoner?
British television show from like 15 years ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, where do you
But
go
it's like one
after
of the
Oppenheimer?
best short. It's like one of the best like short series ever. It's like one of those top five ones. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. You ever see The Night Manager with Tom Hiddleston and
The Night
Elizabeth
Manager.
Debicki?
No, I don't think so.
It was a great. It probably came out in like 2017, 2018. Great miniseries, and it was after it came out, people were like, "Yo, make Tom Hiddleston the next James Bond. Make him the next
Well,
one."
that's too late. He's not going to be James
Nah,
Bond.
I don't think
It's
they would make a redhead
Aaron
James
Taylor
Bond.
Johnson is pretty much shirt up for that. I think.
Is that a rumor too?
I don't think that's a rumor. That's pretty like legitimate.
All right, I think that's a good pick though.
Well, he's young, he's the same age as us, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
think they don't want to go run into the same problem they had with Daniel Craig, where it was just him complaining about the physical toll it took on him. But apparently, that had to do more with the directing style of Sam Mendes and not the role itself. He just couldn't take that guy, directing. the way he directed films. So I mean, he got messed up on those films too. Like,
Okay, now I'm looking at Night Manager. I remember watching some of this.
yeah, I thought it was great, man. I thought it was
You know
great.
what? This is how I remember it because this is around the time when you started dating Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift's been with every dude in the every white dude in the industry, man. Every single one, pretty much.
And that she dated that white supremacist guy from 1980 from that band what is it 1975 or whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
He was doing like Nazi symbols and like a concert and stuff. It's like
Hey,
what
maybe
draws
that
you
gets
to
her
a guy
going.
like that? Let's be real.
Maybe that's her thing. That's her kink or something. She likes bad boys, I guess. I mean,
Bad boys calling for genocide. I mean, it's as bad as it gets, I guess.
this is bad.
Go back to the 40s. Who would you date? Oh, just date like Heimler. Not a big deal. Who cares?
Hey, man, that's her twist, man. Whatever
Oh, dude.
floats your boat, man. You know.
All right, but I'm so here's the thing with Marvel.
Hmm.
They have reduced the content drastically in the last 8 months
Yeah, they haven't released anything.
for a good reason, I think.
Thank God. They're finally
Well, I
listening to
think I
reason.
think they're just whoever is the CEO of Marvel because I know it's its own entity, even though it's in the umbrella of Disney.
Disney. Hmm.
Um, they're just seeing how Star Wars is just falling apart at the seams. They're just looking at that. It's like Joe Biden talking on stage at any given night. It's like it's the same thing. Like just let himself implode. But it's
Oh my
bad. Like
God.
the Acolyte dude. The it's funny because the amount of people who are defending Acolyte, I feel like are paid actors. He was like, "Oh, I liked it." I was like, "Well, give us reasons why." And they can't.
You know what? You know when something's going to be bad is when the actors are the ones saying it's a great show, and the reasons they give is because of how diverse it is, how you can have strong female characters, how diverse the cast is, how accepting the cast is,
You
how
understand what
accepting
the
the
finale
studio
was
is.
about, right? It pretty much pew-pewed Anakin's prophecy like he wasn't the one type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, it was a finale, so it
I
only
think
had like
so.
6 episodes, 6 or 7
Seven or
episodes, I
eight.
think.
Uh,
Yeah, something like that.
but anyway, so pew-pewed it that
Yeah, I
the
do.
prophecy isn't what it's supposed to be, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And I was like, so you're just retconning everything with a show that's not even worth it. You're ruining a couple good things from the prequels to where it's galvanizing the prequels to make it look really good. I feel like that's what it is. They're like, you know what? All this content after 2015, 99% of it is so bad. Let's just have the sinking ship reinforce the fact that the prequels are good. I feel like that's the sabotage we're at with it.
I mean, I feel like ever since Disney has acquired Star Wars, they've just been trying to like get rid of the prequel in people's minds. And we talked about it before. The prequels
It's
aren't
true.
our favorite films, but they are. We now know that it could get worse than the prequels, and plus, they are most of well, a lot of fans' first foray into Star Wars. I talked to some people and they're like, "Oh yeah, my first Star Wars film was Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones." Like, "Oh yeah," like we're at that age where the prequels are some people's first foray into Star Wars, and the prequels did set up a lot of like lore and it really explained the world, even though it didn't go over as well with the fans. It still was. It still told you a lot about the Force and how it
Fans
worked
like
and
it now.
yes. In my eyes, there's only 6 Star Wars films. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, and also Rogue One. That's um, and then like I remember when the Force Awakens came out, and I was like, all right, it's cool. We hadn't had a Star Wars movie in so long, and I was like, I like it. Even though it's a rehash of A New Hope,
I
it's
want to
like
like it, but it's like nostalgic strings. But Episode 8 just ruined all of that.
after Episode 8 and 9 came out, the Force Awakens just became so much worse because
And
not
Episode 9's like, what are we doing with this?
because so many things were set up in seven, it can't stand alone on its own. So it needs the sequels, which is a bad thing for a movie to be anyway. It needs to be a cohesive story in itself, even though there's going to be sequels. But it's a rehash of A New Hope. It doesn't stand on its own. It had to bring in all the other older players from the first sequel. I mean, the first saga, because it couldn't stand on its own character wise. It was just bad, man. The sequels are bad. Let's just admit it. And
And
everything since.
Acolyte's probably one of the worst rated shows ever.
Did you know
Ever.
that
We're
Rotten
talking about
Tomatoes
ever.
turned off audience comments and scores?
It's probably because it got reviewed. It got bombed so bad.
But
Last time I checked, it
do
was
we
like a
still
2
call it a
point.
bomb?
No,
Do we
it's a
still call it a review
2.2 or
bomb if
something
it's
like that. I'm
honest?
like, well, if I was an actor, I wouldn't show my face in public.
It's kind of like
And
back in the day when starring in being an actor in Power Rangers was like death to your career.
I wouldn't do any of those Star Wars conventions.
I know, right? It's probably not a good idea. Yeah, that
Fans are see the thing is, it's like this is one of those franchises that do not understand its customer base, its fandom, and instead they label them as racist and bigots and all this stuff, right? Kind of like what we talked about Ubisoft CEO towards Japanese people because they had issues about how they were doing Japanese lore. And they're
yeah,
like, you know what, we know better, and you're just going to have to deal with it. It's like it's not even just the inclusiveness. It's the fact that the stuff just sucks, and the writing was on the wall, and the fact that you had to parade around, spend $180 million on this series, which was more money spent than any of the prequel movies, and
which is
that's
crazy.
even with inflation, right? So even if you take it a dollar for dollar, it's still spent more,
I think
which is
someone
an
did the math that
unbelievable
Revenge of
amount.
the Sith was 114 million. That's
This was
crazy.
180, by the way, plus.
Crazy.
All right, that was just
Crazy.
for like that wasn't marketing, that wasn't anything else. That was just pure cost to make this thing, right? Like that's unbelievable, right?
Did
I
you
was
hear the
like, where does
rumor
this money go?
as
Is
to
this
why?
just CGI? You're just spending it on the
You,
CGI and the editing. That's all you did.
nah, it looks the same as all the other shows, as all the other Disney Plus shows. And there's a rumor online that this show is money laundering. I'll just leave it at that because I don't know what's true, what's what. I just thought that was an interesting comment because somebody was like, "Yo, 180 mil. Why they do? Kenobi didn't even cost us much." It's like money laundering.
Yeah, just hike up your costs so you can siphon. Yeah, I don't know. Unless they're trying to write it off.
Probably, yeah, yeah.
If it's going to be a
Because
bomb, might as well just make it the biggest bomb of all time.
let
But
me
enough
ask
of
you
that.
something.
We're not going to do this with Star Wars because we know this is a hot
We do this
topic for both of us.
every episode.
We talk about it while they have no business having our mind space being corrupted by it.
Let me ask a rhetorical question for people to mull this over in their minds. Why would you spend $180 million on a show that you're not going to get your money back on? Nobody's going to pay to see it. No, it's not going to bring in new subscribers. You're not showing it in
Those
theaters, so you're not
shareholders
making money.
have to be absolutely just appalled. It's like I don't understand like how they can continue having this leadership in. It's like
It's crazy.
voting. It's like voting for someone's like the run a country that just and you continuously do it knowing how awful they are. Like, how are you doing this? It's like it's the same thing. Like your company, like I mean, we've talked about this at nauseum, but it's not a good look. I don't see any good content coming out anytime soon. And even if Captain America ends up doing well and it's a good movie, doesn't predicate the fact that everything else has been absolute crap.
But like in the movie industry, right? I mean, in the music industry, you sign you sign like 10 artists, and maybe out of the 10, two will be successful and make millions and millions of dollars for the company, and that will help the cost of the other eight. Disney's not putting out a bunch of hits. Disney's not making money, period. So where are the costs
When's the
being
last
covered?
hit?
Besides Inside Out, which just came out and is making millions on millions of dollars, that's still not going to cover the cost of all these trash shows y'all are putting out. Acolyte is one show that costs $100 million. How many Disney
180.
Plus shows? Yeah,
180.
180.
That's a big
How many Disney
difference.
Plus shows has they put out that have just been duds? Y'all ain't making money. And then there's how many movies that they were going to release in theaters, but they decided to keep on Disney Plus
They
alone.
cut it because they were like, nah.
So
If
I
they
don't
know
know,
what's
bro.
good for them, they better stop that Ray movie. I'm
That which
telling you,
movie?
the Ray
Oh,
movie
the
that's
Ray
coming
movie,
out, if they know what's good for them.
bro, bro. I don't know. Like you said, let's keep it.
All right, so you told me to watch Gladiator 2. This is also going to bother you because I know how much you love Gladiator.
Yes.
Why is this even a thing?
You know,
This
a
guy's
great
gone
man named
senile, by the way.
oh, a great man named Mark Bernardin. Uh, he's a screenwriter and commentator, friends with Kevin Smith. He said for Furiosa, if a prequel or sequel comes out, you have to ask yourself why does it exist and does it deserve to exist. I look at this trailer for Gladiator 2. I'm like, why does this exist? It looks like a rehash of the first movie, to be honest. And I'm like, didn't what's his name Maximus disband with his last dying wish, disband the the Caesars and gave the Republic back to the people, gave the power back to the people. But now in this movie, we have another. Instead of Joaquin Phoenix, like in the first one, we have two crazy looking emperors. And then instead of the
Yeah,
emperors
well,
being the
Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to be like Nero, and he was
yeah
Commodus, right? So that's the
Commodus, yeah Commodus. But this movie looks like a rehash of the last one. The main protagonist, he has an issue with the emperors and the empire itself, just like Maximus. And
that
it's
never
like,
happened. By the way, there was never a consortium of emperors running
yeah, I was like,
Rome.
what is that? Who are they supposed to be? Like, I wanted to do research, but then I was like,
Just white man
there's no
rage,
point.
bro. It's all it is.
He's just losing. Ridley Scott's just losing his mind. It's like I was telling people because a couple of friends of mine hit me up and were like, "Did you see it?" And I was like, because they know I like Gladiator, and I'm like, bro, Ridley Scott lost his mind like 10 years ago, bro. Like he's just been putting out crazy stuff back to back. I don't have any like faith in this project, and the trailer didn't do it for me. It was a over 3 minute trailer, and I'm like, it's not hitting it for me, man.
3 minute trailer. What does that mean? How long is this movie?
Uh, That's a good question, actually, because Napoleon was like 3 hours, bro.
Oh,
So it's
he
like,
was
what are you
just to
doing?
come out, just to come and find out he was a cuck, which makes no sense.
Which gets old after the first hour. It's like, come on, bro. Like, why do we need Gladiator?
World
Just
leaders do
a,
not act like this. Hate to break it to people who are conquering the world. Like there's no like beta male thing going on. Maybe now. All right,
I
but
said maybe no. It's just
then
like, it's like, just admit to yourself, really, Scott, that none of your projects are working, and you had to resort to one of your best projects ever, and just be like, all right, we'll just make a sequel out of this. The story was told. There's nothing left to
all
tell.
right. All right. Let's just use an example. What is one of the best movies ever made that wasn't a franchise?
Blade Runner?
No, there was a second one. I'm talking
What?
about a movie that is just so original that there was nothing that came after it or linked itself. It was just a good movie. Like
Inception.
think Inception. Okay. We had Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
Right. We
yeah.
have
Yeah.
what we're. I'm just saying like random movies, right? Like
Oh, okay.
Apocalypse Now. I'm just saying like good movies. Take any of these movies, make a second one. What are you talking about with it? How are you doing it?
I,
It's the same thing. Why would you do this? Why would you make a second Shawshank Redemption?
yeah, that doesn't make sense whatsoever. Why are you making a Gladiator 2? That has been
Especially
told.
24 years after the first one.
And it looks like everything's the same. Nothing's changed from the first one. The first one was supposed to collapse the
Why
empire.
can't we just have one singular movie? Just accept the fact that it's one singular movie. Saving Private Ryan 2,
You
go
already
back for
saved him.
more.
Go back for more.
The
That'll be
Nazis
the
get him
semicolon.
again.
Nazis get him. Let's hit him. Get him with your best shot. Let's hit him again, boys.
Yeah. Tom Hanks isn't really dead, you know? It's like.
And Glorious Bastards too. Hitler's back from the dead, just like Palpatine.
If Quentin Tarantino ever makes a franchise, you know he would never do something like that.
No. I'm so surprised he wanted to do Star Trek.
Well, I think because it was a one-off, he could do it and get away with it, right? Like,
Right. But they won't let him do
it's
it.
well, how he wanted. It was never going to work. It was like, there's no
Wow.
way. You're going to get these old heads who are huge Star Trek fans saying, "What are we watching?" You know, Paramount will just explode.
To be fair, you can't blame them. What if he tried to do that with Star Wars?
He might make it better.
At this point, yeah. It can't
Let's
get
be real.
worse. Dear God, anything is better. Besides Andor
Palpatine
Rogue
comes
One.
back. They kill him in a movie theater. The end. Something stupid. That'd be great.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Acolyte had another episode and it turns out Palpatine was from the start there all along or something like
Well,
that.
so the whole point is that there is going to be a season 2, and it's going to delve into Palpatine and Darth Plagueis and their stuff.
No, don't touch it. Don't touch that lore. You already messed it up.
It's already. I'm not going to say other curse words, but that's some pretty,
They
effed
already
up
messed
stuff.
it up. Don't mess
It's
up.
already done.
Let me say
We're back
this.
to it again. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Can I just say this one thing?
Oh God. We
I
need
saw
therapy
somebody.
after this.
I saw somebody online explain the prequels in a way that I loved. He said, if you look at the prequels this way, they become better. The prequels aren't about Anakin. They are about the genius of Palpatine. How he manipulated the Jedi. How he manipulated the Senate. All under their
And
nose in
Anakin.
front of them. And Anakin. Like, we're talking about not super soldiers, but monks who can sense what you're thinking and what you're feeling. And they couldn't tell nothing. Like, they couldn't tell what he was doing. This dude was a genius. So he created he orchestrated it so that somebody would tell somebody to create a clone army. And then he orchestrated on the other side to tell somebody to create a droid army, start a war, make sure the clones win, and then guy's a genius, man. Like if you look at the prequels that way, it's like he's like the Thanos of Star Wars because it was just genius. He was powerful, and his reign was like for what, like 30 years or something like that until Luke came along and
23.
23. So it's like the prequels are about the genius of
because
Palpatine.
Anakin was Anakin for 23 years and he was Darth Vader for 23 years, which is perfect duality of good and evil, which is why he balanced everything out. Fun fact.
That's true.
If anyone didn't know that.
So, and Anakin's birth was all about balance, but that's a whole different discussion. So if the Acolyte writers touch Palpatine, they're going to ruin that genius. The sequels already kind of ruined Palpatine by bringing him back again. All right.
Oh wait,
they
that wasn't dead.
Snoke
That was a clone you killed.
I know that's a clone, but you're just stop bringing the guy back. He can't always be the guy. He
never came back. He was never gone to begin with. That was the whole point. Oh, no. That was a clone. That was a very good clone. To J.J. Abrams' defense, he had no choice.
No, he had a choice.
How was he going to salvage what he had a choice not doing the 8th one. He said no, because he wanted to be around family. Disney offered him so much money, he came back for the 9th one. I was like, You know what I
bro.
would have done? I would have killed Rey and the Jedi, and that's it. They're done. Everyone's in. You got to figure it out for yourself, like it's happened before. You know what I mean?
First of all, Ray, Finn, Poe, all those characters were not memorable at all. There was no Luke Skywalker, there was no Han Solo, there was no Leia. Nobody was memorable. Let's keep it at that. They had to bring back the other people from the first movies because they weren't memorable. Secondly, I forgot my point, but they weren't memorable. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's my point. J.J. Abrams was a bad choice for the seventh one. All J.J. Abrams did was rehash New Hope. There was nothing original about the Force Awakens. The only thing cool about the Force Awakens was basically watching a New Hope with 2015 graphics, basically seeing the Millennium Falcon and great 3D animation, um, stuff like that. Like we got to see lightsabers with newer technology. That's it. It was basically just a New Hope with better technology. But
And then John Wick
yeah,
comes
like
back from the dead.
stop, bro. Stop. Because and Force Awakens, it set up so much, but it didn't give you anything. It ended like a cliffhanger, kind of. There was no resolution. There was nothing.
I need to stage an intervention. We got to stop talking about this because
Not to
we might as well
mention, there
be a
was
Star Wars
no
podcast of how
redeemable.
much we crap on it at this point.
I know. Not to mention, there was no redeemable male characters. It was just
But this is
it
also
started the
sad
woke
because
run.
Gladiator 2 is going to be just as bad. And
Bro,
however, the last duel that Ridley Scott did was good.
it was good. It's the problem is no one saw it. That was the
I saw
problem.
it.
No, I mean like we saw it, but nobody else did. And
Are you shocked that I
that
even went to go see a movie like that?
yeah, because it was pretty long in theaters.
Those are the ones I like, though. I like the long ones.
Like dear God, bro, that was a long movie, man, for theaters. And but he did something brave. He showed different sides, and it was
I
like the
liked it.
way he filmed it. The way he filmed it was brave, and it was good how he did that. And that's like the one jewel that he had in the past like what 10 years or something like that. I feel like ever since Gods of not
Wait,
Gods of Egypt.
what about all these alien movies?
Stop.
Mm.
Stop, bro. Stop. No.
And I'm about to get
You're
on you for this movie you made us review and watch.
oh my god. I didn't say you would like it. I just want you to watch it.
I watched it, and I was busy playing a game on my iPad when I was watching it because it was so forgettable.
Oh my gosh. This guy. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into hardcore Henry, man.
All right, first off, I'm going first.
All right.
Movies that are filmed in first person, there are only two who have done it right: Cloverfield
Mm-hmm.
and Paranormal Activity. I can say maybe Doom, but Doom was just so campy, right? But other than that, I mean, Blair Witch Project, let's be real, was probably like the first one to do this, would you say? Like in the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
And then it went to, then you had Cloverfield, you had Paranormal Activity all come out around the same time. But those two, like, just broke you in terms of thrill. I'm serious.
Right.
Remember seeing Paranormal Activity in the movie theater and you're like, did this really happen? You had to go Google it and stuff, like it was wild, dude. But this movie, I don't care how much action there was, how much this guy was karate chopping people, moving things around. I felt like I was watching Mirror's Edge while he was just taking pistols out of these group of guys and beating them
Right.
up. And these people who spoke English kind of okay. And
Still subtitles.
it's like, okay, what is this about? Like, I finished it. I'm like, I paused it. I'm like, okay, I need a break just because I went to bed and I finished it. I'm like, what is this about? Like, what am I supposed to get from this? And I didn't get a whole lot of nothing, is what I got. And that's my review.
So we're talking about Hardcore Henry. Came out 2015. All shot in first person. The director, who I can't pronounce his name, Ilya Naishuler, he directed recently Nobody, produced by the 8711, the guys who do John Wick and stuff like that. David Leitch and Chad. Uh,
Chad Kroger from Nickelback.
no, Chad Stahelski.
Chad Stilkinski.
Chad Stahelski. So I enjoyed Hardcore Henry I saw this in theaters. So imagine watching this motion stuff back in 2015 in
Waste
theaters.
of time. That's what it was.
It was only an hour and a half. Only an hour and a half.
Hour and a
And
half. Hold on. I'm going to interject. Remember that movie In Time with Justin Timberlake?
Yes.
And you had the currency was like your life, pretty much.
I saw it in theaters, yeah.
That's what I feel like when I watch bad movies. 80% of these movies that I've watched, if it wasn't for my own volition, like Operation Napoleon, that 365 days,
You chose
is
to watch
because
it.
of these recommendations you tell me, by the way.
I didn't recommend any of those to you besides Hardcore Henry.
No, those were my own volition, is what I'm saying. Besides the one of my own volition, that's the 20%. But the 80% of these movies, I'm like, what am I watching?
You're watching a
Go on,
masterpiece.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to interject again. I just wanted...
You're watching a masterpiece. You want to talk about stunts? We talked about Fall Guy. The stunts in here were wild. There was like 10 different stunt guys who played Henry in this movie. And if you look at the behind the scenes, they're doing crazy stuff with barely any rigging, barely any safety with it. And they just got it done. I think I like this movie because I'm a film guy who likes behind the scenes stuff. And I watch this and I can tell like the heart and passion behind this project. I mean, they built a rig. They shot this whole thing on a GoPro Hero 3 Black. The same camera that I had at the time this movie came out. My first camera was a GoPro Hero 3 Black. And they filmed this whole thing on it. And they had to build a rig so that it would fit around the stunt guy's mouth, because that's the best position for the camera when people are talking to you instead of the forehead. And they shot the whole thing on it. I mean, there's VFX in here, yes, and the fact that
You mean when they
they
got shot
made
out of
this
the sky with that escape pod? That wasn't real?
this guy. If you look at the behind the scenes of this movie and
I
how
don't
much
need
work
to.
they put into how much work the VFX artists had to do, because the fisheye lens on the GoPro, they had to straighten that into a 16:9. And I'm just saying this stuff when I'm seeing your face. You're like, I don't give a F.
Most people don't care about the straightening out of a 16:9. All right?
Oh my gosh.
I
And
care about watching something that's enjoyable. I tell you what, I'm like, this is
this
insane.
wasn't enjoyable. Tell me you didn't get hype at the end when he's fighting the boss. This is just a video game movie, basically.
Okay.
And he's fighting the
I
boss
felt
guy,
kind of looked like Loki.
and Queen comes on the track, and it's just like he just goes ape nuts, and he's just pop, 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 just popping grenades and shotguns. And pop, yo,
Are you talking about the guy
it
with the
was
long
fucking
hair that looks like Loki?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's the boss fight at the end.
Yeah.
That guy.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I'm like, oh, whatever.
And the fact that Charlton Copley, he plays like 10 different versions of himself in this movie, or he has all these clones and he's controlling them. It was just great. It was like a huge video game, first person shooter, and I loved it. You know, it reminded me of those old boomer shooter games back when boomer shooter games was a thing, before there was Call of Duty clones. Now every first person shooter is a Call of Duty clone, basically.
It's whack. It's what it is. Straight whack.
But you know what I'm saying, like the Unreal tournament games, the
Yeah, yeah,
Doom
yeah,
games.
yeah. No, definitely.
This was in the vein of that. If they had more money, it
Hmm.
probably would have been a sci-fi or whatever. This was funded on Indiegogo, basically, so they could do this movie back in 2015, and it was great. The same year that The Abomination, The Force Awakens came out, but we're not going to go back into that discussion
Rather
before
have
I
seen
have
that.
cardiac arrest.
So here's the thing, because we already know this movie sucks. There's no need to talk about it anymore. We're going to talk about the next movie we're going to do. We're going to talk about Highlander, a
Oh
premiere
my gosh.
cinema experience.
The premiere cinema experience. Are you sure?
I mean, the show was good, and I'm looking forward to the show that's coming out with Henry Cavill. Did you see the posters for that?
Oh, it's a show? I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was a movie.
Oh, I thought it was a show. If it's a movie, even better. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking at the posters right now.
If
Excuse
you
me.
can call them posters,
Oh,
if that's still a thing,
yeah, I don't even know. I think it's like a production art or something you call them.
it's a nice
Okay.
PDF.
Yo, this is getting me hype. You know what? You know what? Watching the trailer of Gladiator reminded me. I miss and watching Bad Batch. I finished season 1 of Bad Batch. Got 2 more to go. I miss Sword and Shield stuff, man. Like just like duking it out, like some good choreographed sword fights.
So you're not watching Game of Thrones then?
I finished the first episode. I'm in no rush. They don't have sword battle. They never have good choreographed fights except for that one with Pedro Pascal, and that was the one good choreographed fight. Except for no, there are some good battles, but I'm talking about one on one like sword battles, and that's basically what Highlander is. It's like the one guy has to be. I mean, there
There's
has to
no
be the one
shields
guy.
though.
Well, you know what I mean, like good sword. I mean, when I came to visit you, um, on the way, I watched both. What's it called? Zorro movies with Antonio Banderas. I watched both. I was like, man, where are these good sword battles? And back then, that the first one came out in like 2000. All the stunts had to be done real. So he's doing he's jumping off the horse. I know it's stunt guys, but he's like jumping off the horses. He's battling. I'm like, yo, where are the good squash buckling sword fights and everything like that? Like I miss these kind of movies. And Highlander looks
I'm just
great.
waiting for Elden Ring movie to come out.
I kind of don't want them to touch it in this day and era. I feel like it's going to get woked up, son. I don't know,
I
man.
don't even think they would. I don't even know how you would make it. But franchises like that, anything is nothing's off limits.
Let me ask you this: how much foreign films do you watch? Because I wonder if it will be better if Japan actually makes it themselves.
How much foreign films do I watch? Like, I don't know. I watch. Are you talking about are you talking about like an Elden Ring type of thing made by Japanese studios type of thing?
Yeah, like an action film. Because some of the greatest martial arts and action films I've ever seen have been from overseas: Japan, China, Korea. They make some of the
Hold on. I'm
greatest
going to tell you one
action
movie
films.
right now.
Hmm.
That's your The Twilight Samurai. Watch that.
The Twilight Samurai.
Watch that movie. That's one of the best like Japanese foreign films like ever.
Have I seen this? It sounds familiar. And this is around the time I was just watching everything foreign on Netflix. No, I haven't seen this. No, I haven't. I'll check it
And our
out.
boy's in
Twilight.
it.
Our boy.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. It's not that old. 2002. I mean,
He's
he
aged
is an
very
older
well.
fella. It's only 2 hours 9 minutes, but I'll check it out. Yeah, like where movies like this, like Hero with Jet Li and stuff, like The East is still doing good films. The West, ah, ah, you know,
Do you know
I
how
almost
you
want.
hear? So it's just talking about here Yukibu fast. He did Shakespeare in Japan. That's how he's good at acting the way he is because
Oh,
he did
nice.
Shakespearean.
What the heck?
He got started as an action star in the 70s. The first movie he did was Yagyu Clan Conspiracy. Bro,
Dang.
like, guy, how do you have such a well-rounded dude? Like, this is like Patrick Stewart equivalent type of stuff, but for a Japanese actor, is what it is.
Is he the Japanese Ian McShane?
Probably.
Because you know how Ian McShane, he just be killing those lines. He just be killing dialogue. Like I kind of felt
I
like
mean, his English is
Hideo.
good, so even if he doesn't speak English, he speaks Japanese. Like what he did in what was that show we were watching? Last show, whatever the Shogun movie, the show.
Westworld. He was in
No, the
that.
last Shogun movie, the one that we were doing with
Oh,
the chick from
Shogun.
Monarchs in
Shogun.
it, and his last show.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it is. Yeah, I mean, half of it was in Japanese. It's still well acted. You can tell just because they're not speaking English doesn't mean they're not acting well, right?
Exactly. Even when he speaks English,
His
it's
English is
so
great.
good.
It's
Yeah.
doesn't phase me one bit.
And this
Um,
guy's like a sword. He's got to be a swordsman in real life. As
he
many
is. He
times he
has to.
plays as a
Every
samurai.
movie he does, I'm like, this dude is flinging the sword around like no one's business. Like this dude has to be like a master at sword fighting. Like I would not want to fight this dude with a sword. There's no
Like
way.
he's played a samurai practically his whole life, man. This guy has to be, hands down, easily. Because you're not going to play that same kind of role for that long and not know how to swing a sword. You're just not.
Bro,
You're
like
going
in
to have
John Wick and Wolverine.
yes. The Last Samurai. Yeah, he's got to
Well,
be.
anyway, yeah, so we're gonna watch Highlander. Do you want to do the Christopher Lambert ones or do you want to do the Adrian Paul ones?
Didn't Christopher Lambert come first?
Yes.
So I want to do it in order because I heard
Okay.
that the few
Because
movies come out.
Sean Connery's in it, right? You know this, right?
Yeah, I know. Mhm.
All right, and he's supposed to be the Spaniard, and he has no accent change. He still sounds Scottish.
Just like Anthony Hopkins was the Spaniard in The Mask of Zorro, and he had his British accent the whole time,
Sean
or the
Connery
tan.
has never changed his accent ever in anything.
No, no. Back in the day, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? You know who's
Spaniard.
another actor like that? Who's still like that to this day? Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is playing a Roman whatever in Gladiator 2, and he still has his New
Which is
York
not
accent.
believable, but whatever.
Someone said he's playing
I
an
didn't know
emperor. I'm
you
like,
could. I
I
didn't
don't
know
think
you
he's
could
an
rise through
emperor.
the ranks as a black man back then. But hey, like whatever. I guess he didn't care for historical accuracy anymore, right?
But I don't think he's a emperor in the movie. I think he's like
No, I'm
Proximo in the
saying
first one.
no. Like he's a military leader. Like I don't think that was a thing. Then is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Oh, he is a military? I don't think that's a thing, man. Now Italians back then were darker, but
Not like
Italians
that.
were yeah,
Not,
no, not like that. They were more like Greek dark, but like ancient Greek dark, not today Greek dark. But
a little darker than me.
like the Romans only gave Romans rank. If anything, they would give foreigners rank inside the household or whatever. Like, hey, you can be the high slave, or you can teach the gladiators to fight. I don't know. We gotta watch the movie to see what role Denzel's in because I
I'm
think
not gonna
he's just
watch
like
it. You kidding me? You're gonna go see this?
probably not because you know why? It's probably gonna be like 3 hours and 10 minutes or some shit. It's probably gonna be long as hell. I'm probably just gonna watch it when it comes on home video and cut it in half.
Home
Nah,
video? Home video? What are we? Video still exists?
it's just
Video
the term.
cassettes? VHS?
Yeah, man. Back in the day when you
Or
had
the
to
8 tracks?
rewind the thing manually
I
because
like
your
to stick the
rewind machine didn't
trains in
work.
the VCRs
Yeah. Stick
or
the
the
trace in
sandwich.
the
My brother put like a sandwich in there once. I remember.
I used to put crayons in my grandparents' one. Completely destroy it.
Kids don't even put random stuff in things anymore. This is why they're ruined.
Because everything's just cast and yeah, this is why there's no creativity. There's nothing to
Yeah.
destroy. Everything's
Why
digital.
is this Xbox disc slot so thin, man? VCR slot was thick. You could put whatever you want
Yeah.
in there. You could fill it with cement,
A cartridge can't fit in
Play-Doh.
that. But yeah, Gladiator is going to be trash, man. Hands down, trash.
Look,
But
here's the thing with how Highlander. I'm giving you expectations because I know you haven't seen them.
hmm,
It's a product of its time. Does that make sense?
right.
Okay. As long as
I
you
mean, Queen
understand.
did the theme songs, right?
Well, for the show, yes.
I thought they did
Adrian
it for the
Paul
first
is
movie
in the
too.
show. He plays Duncan MacLeod, but Christopher Lambert's character is different. He's kind of like his sensei, so to speak.
Mm, okay, I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check it out, man. I mean,
All
what's
right.
it called? Ricky Bobby said Highlander is the greatest movie all the
Greatest
time.
movie ever. And how many Oscars did it win? It won all of them.
Every one of them. Every single one on the
It was the
planet.
greatest movie ever in the history of mankind, or something like that.
Yes. Whatever happened to Christopher Lambert? He was the guy in the 80s and the 90s. French guy, too. He just disappeared off the face
Was
of the
he
planet.
French or was he French Canadian?
French Canadian, I think.
That's a big difference. Do not mix those up.
Lambert. Christopher Lambert. Oh, he was born in the US. Nice. Went to Switzerland, Geneva. Okay, so I don't know what this guy was. I guess he's American.
Like,
But I don't know where he's from.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to watch them. I think we should just watch all of them. And you got to watch the show. You need to get caught up before this new one with Henry Cavill comes out, because I feel like Henry Cavill's due for a win. I want the guy to win. I like him.
Man, the stuff he's been coming out with haven't been hitting lately, man. I don't know what's
That
up.
one with what's his face? Um, Guy Ritchie. That movie was pretty good. The Ungentlemanly Warfare thing. That was good. I
Yeah, it
like
did
that.
bad in the box office though. Nobody
But
went to
that
see it.
doesn't matter. It's talking about enjoyment. I don't care about that.
Well, we should care because when those movies do poorly in the box office, the studios stop making those kind of movies altogether. You know, so
I
it's
think that
like,
was more of an indictment on Guy Ritchie than anything. I'm serious.
but Guy Ritchie is the guy, man. I love his movies, man.
I love his movies too, but younger people don't really gravitate towards that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, they don't like that fast talking stuff.
All right, so a
You know
couple
he's
things though.
doing
Go ahead. I'm
Hercules,
sorry.
right?
Hmm?
No, he's not doing Hercules. Which one? The
No, no,
Russo
no, no.
brothers
He's
are
doing.
doing
He did The
Hercules.
Gentleman.
What Disney
That's,
movie is he doing next?
he's doing a
Because the
Disney
Russos are doing
movie.
Hercules. Yeah, he's doing another one. Remember he did Aladdin,
He did.
the live action. You don't remember that?
He
Yeah,
did Aladdin. I did not like Aladdin at all.
the live action one he wrote and directed it. He
No
co-wrote
way. I didn't like it.
it. No one did. No one likes the live action remakes of
The
Disney.
only
So
live action Disney movie that was okay was Beauty and the Beast, and I'm saying it was okay because the music was good. But other than that,
the music was good because it was from the original.
Josh Groban
Jungle
was on the
Book was good.
soundtrack. That's what helped. Jungle Book was good, yes. But Jon
Jungle
Favreau
Book
did
was good.
Jungle Book.
Yep.
Benedict Cumberbatch, always a fantastic villain voice, if you ask me.
Right. But yeah, okay. So maybe he's not doing another Disney one. I don't know. I thought he was, but yeah. The Russo brothers are doing the live action Hercules movie. I don't know if they're doing it for Disney or if they're doing it on their own. But hopefully, if it's not for Disney,
Here's the
it'll be
thing, right?
good.
You know, there's a whole wing of live action things for Disney, right? Like there's a whole department for that.
Yeah, yeah, I
The
know.
guy that they fired, who was the head for the witch hunt after the attempted coup from the shareholders meeting like a couple months ago, that was the
Hmm.
guy they asked was the guy who had that.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
they didn't. I don't know if someone replaced him or if they're getting rid of it or they're done. Are they done with that entirely?
Well, the Lilo and Stitch live action project is still in production.
How do you feel about that? I know you like it.
It's going to be garbage. I love the
Ugh.
original Lilo and Stitch, so this one's going to be garbage. I know it because all of them have been garbage except for Jungle Book. Um, I think they should get rid and Moana, the live action one, is still coming out, even though they have a Moana 2, an animated Moana 2 coming out, which makes no sense. What are you doing, Disney? Why do you have a live action remake of the first one while you're having a sequel of the animated? What world do we live in? What is Disney doing? What is Disney doing?
We've been asking this for like 3.5 years.
I feel like we've been asking long.
All right, so they're doing. Oh God, are there any more live actions that we can expect then?
Uh,
You're very blurry, by the way. It's like you're in witness
I know.
protection.
It's like every time I shake my I get frustrated and shake my camera
Witness
loses focus on
protection.
me.
He has to protect his identity now because he said so much cross stuff about Disney. He's worried that he's about to
I
be
know, right?
killed by one of those hitmen that killed Jeff Epstein.
Oh my gosh. Um, it'll fix itself. But I haven't heard anything else after Lilo and Stitch, so
Stresses me
I
out
don't know.
just thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like, there we go.
I don't
I
even
don't
know
know.
like a good live action that should be done. That's the thing. I was thinking. I'm like, what live action's worth it?
Nothing. That includes Avatar, which I haven't seen because I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I didn't see the Netflix one. People keep telling me they did pretty good. If you keep telling me, oh,
Pretty
they did
good's not
pretty good,
enough.
you feel me? When the original anime was amazing, you know, name me a good live action adaptation right now from a anime of some
From
sort,
an anime
anime or an animated movie.
or an
Which one?
animated movie.
There's none.
You know what's one that I
Zero.
would really like though?
Hmm.
Full Metal Alchemist.
They have it. I told you this before on
No,
Netflix.
no, that was awful. I'm talking
Well, then
real.
what do you?
That's not real.
That is real. They did it. Japan did it with
That's not real.
Netflix.
That's not real.
You want like a grittier, realistic portrayal of
Yes,
magic,
yes,
of magic.
yes. Not that fantastical crap. All right. So, but I'm thinking. Give me a second for the stuff that's out right now.
Attack on
Any of it
Titan
that's
would be
been
dope if it's done right. If it's done right. But I don't want them to attempt because it's the
okay. So,
greatest. I know they
hear me
already
out.
have one, people.
Hear
It
me out
came
on
out
this
years
one.
ago.
Are you
All
ready?
right. Mm-hmm.
Detective Pikachu.
It's already out. And it was good, actually.
But wasn't that good in terms of how they did the Pokemon with the people? Like I liked that.
Yeah, they did good, but it was an original story. It was in the universe of Pokemon. It wasn't like
Yeah, but you
and
get what
then
I'm saying. It's the same thing. Okay, all right. It's have you seen the live action Dragon Ball Z that's coming out?
there's one coming out now again. They
Yeah.
didn't learn their lesson the first time.
No.
Stop. You're lying. I
No.
gotta look this up.
All right. I'm trying to think of more. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Gundam Wing. If they did a live action Gundam Wing, like that would be sick.
That was in the works. It might still be in the works by the director of Kong Skull Island,
Ooh.
Jordan Vaught Robertson or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. 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 Well, now wait. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. Do TV shows count?
Yes, they do, and like the Yu Yu Hakusho and Last Airbender
Okay, but
adaptations, they
does
were
it have
great.
to be anime or can it be like graphic novels?
Mm, that's tricky because there are some good adaptations of like graphic
Yeah, you got the
novels and
boys. You got um uh what's with Rorschach? What's that? Doctor
Watchmen.
Manhattan, Watchmen. That was good. Um,
You're talking about the show, right?
yes,
Hmm. Yeah, the
the
show
show
was
was
amazing.
good. The movie is great. Like what we're not talking about. The show was good. I actually enjoyed the show. It made sense. It was
One of the greatest piece of television ever. Just like the first season of Westworld. Amazing.
But no, you're right. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, dude, there's not a lot of like original cartoon to movie live action stuff. It doesn't really
It doesn't work. It
gel.
doesn't translate. And you know
But why
why?
are they doing Johnny Bravo as a movie then?
Stop, bro. You're lying.
No,
You're lying.
no.
Johnny Bravo? Hold on, let me look at this shit, man. You're lying, aren't you?
Swear to God,
Is
Dwayne
there a Johnny
Johnson's doing
Bravo
it.
movie? What?
Yeah,
Oh, they had one. No, this is fake.
it's not fake, dude. Another good one that would be good to see live action would be Digimon, Mega Man.
You know, it's a good Mega Man like adaptation that was good.
Hmm.
Alita Battle Angel, produced
Hmm.
by James Cameron, was good.
It was okay.
It was good
Why were her eyes big in that?
to look more like the anime. Remember, it was bigger in the trailer, and they had to reduce the eye size
Yeah, because
because
they were
people complained.
huge. I'm like, what are we doing with this? It looks like
They were.
spotlights.
I know it was huge. Oh,
All
but
right,
yeah,
so we
man.
can't do any live action. So live action just sucks. All right, so this is more of a reason then. We went through this. We thought about it for 8 minutes. Why does Disney have the need to do this then?
They're trying to they're trying to cash in because their live action adaptations have made so much. The first few made so much money, even though they were bad. So they just keep hashing them out, even though they're bad. Because
Which is
there's
wild to
kids
me
out
that they
there.
couldn't bring all of the people back from Lion King when everyone at the time was alive.
So the funny thing about that is, I remember when Lion King's live adaptation came out, people were like, "Why didn't you just hire everybody back if you were going to do a shot for shot remake?" But yet it was still longer than the original. Uh, It made
Why
no
you
sense.
didn't have Jeremy Irons to me, which is just as important as James Earl Jones with Mufasa with Scar, respectively.
Well, you
That
know
is
why they
just
did
as
that.
important of a voice.
You know
Well,
why
I
they
know
did that.
diversity. I know. I understand. I get it. He
No,
was
no,
he
no.
was a checkbox
Well,
hire.
they wanted all the lines to be black. If you notice, all the lines are black, and then like Timon and Pumbaa weren't. That was Seth Rogen and what's his name?
Billy Eichner.
Forgot his name. Billy Eichner and stuff. Which Billy Eichner was a perfect casting for that.
But dude,
But
Nathan Lane's better.
yeah, well, he was. I'm saying if you can't get Nathan Lane, Billy Eichner was great.
Are you telling me? I bet you Nathan Lane was never even asked.
No, he wasn't. Of course not.
What?
No, they wanted a whole new cast except for Mufasa because James Earl Jones.
Well,
But
James Earl Jones' royalties from Lion King is like insane, and I think you can't replace a
but
voice. Who's going to replace that voice?
nobody. But it made no sense that they recast everything. They didn't use anybody from the original cast or crew, but yet it was basically a shot for shot
Shot for
remake.
shot, it was a sellout, dude. It was like
It
Men in
was the
Black 2,
same, but it was worse and it was longer.
which doesn't
Made
make
no
sense.
sense. It doesn't make. They added stuff that was just bad, and it was John Favreau who did it. You know, so
Which I don't know why.
he directed it. You know,
I like his stuff,
because
but that doesn't mean he's going to hit it every single time.
no, and it seemed like the studio was on his ass for that one. Because if you look at the Jungle Book live action
Very well
remake,
done.
and it wasn't a shot for shot remake of the original. It had its
Wasn't even
own
close.
identity.
There was some of it. Some of the lines were the same, right? Like when
But
Baloo was singing. Other than that,
yeah,
it wasn't.
it wasn't a shot for shot.
No.
But and then you get Lion King, and I'm thinking
Hmm.
the studio was on his ass like, "Yo, you got to do it this way because the movie is great, and we can't
The movie's
if
great as a
it's work if
cartoon,
it's
but if it's a
yeah,
separate
it
thing,
didn't
that's the
translate."
live actions are its own living, breathing thing. Like you can't replicate it thinking it's
And the
going to
fact
work
that
right.
all those people worked on that movie and no one told them that if you make the lines look realistic, if you make the animals look realistic, animals can't emote. So the audience is not going to connect with them.
What was the production cost for that movie?
It was probably through the roof. How much did Lion King cost? Let's see. Uh oh, well, the original one cost 45 million.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Back in, I wonder if that's including inflation.
Still,
Oh, that's true.
even if it wasn't,
Yeah, I know, right? That's all animation back in the day.
yeah, because they couldn't use like computers and stuff for it. That stuff had to be like hand
Yeah,
drawn.
everything, every single frame cost. Oh my gosh!
Mm.
The budget for the Lion King 2019 film was 250 to 260 million.
What was that spent on? Is that just CGI? Is CGI that expensive?
Yeah, it is, bro. Especially when it looks that realistic. Yeah, it takes time and money. But hey, it made its money back. It made 1.6 billion dollars.
That's a win in John Favreau's book, even if the movie sucked. He made a lot of money,
Because
you
you had
know.
people like me who are huge fans, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. Me and my
Hmm.
wife went to watch it, and I was like, that was a steaming pile of crap. And I went home the next day, woke up in the morning because we saw it late. Woke up in the morning and watched the original, and I was like, this is way better.
Who played Nyla? I forget. Who was the original voice for Nyla?
I can't remember,
All right,
but
so you know what's a
Beyonce
big steaming
was
pile of
terrible.
crap live action since we're talking about it? Mulan.
Oh, the original was
Because so
so
do you,
good,
did you
but the
see Mulan?
remake, yes.
So the person they picked for Mulan's a communist party member of China, and you already know
Oh
how
yeah,
I
I
feel
know.
about that, right? But they filmed it in the same province where they have concentration camps of Uyghur Muslims who are ethnic Chinese who are Muslim in that area. I'm like, you're filming in a place where there's genocide, literally. It makes no
Oh,
sense to me.
I know.
Like
Yep.
legitimate ones, right? Like this is legitimate concerns, not like fake stuff like that goes on everywhere else, right? And it's
Right.
like, why are you are the king of virtue? This company's the king of virtue, and you're filming it there,
Apparently.
of all
Yeah.
places. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
and plus the movie sucked because they went with the original tale of Mulan. They didn't even remake the movie. The only thing was it was her. There was no dragon. There was none of that stuff.
And you also know why you didn't like Mulan? The character Mulan in the remake was just like Rey in the Star
Oh
Wars.
God, dude, she was
It's all a
so.
circle.
What it's so. What's the word? She didn't
It's all.
have any kind of conviction. It was very blank
She had no
stares.
character. No, matter of fact, she acted more like Captain Marvel in the Marvel
Oh,
movies.
Brie Larson. But Brie Larson can act apparently.
Yeah, but the writing is just the same. The stoic female who's been great from the beginning since birth. Like in Mulan in the remake, she had those like powers, as opposed to in the original, she was just a regular chick who, and it added more stakes that she went to fight in her father's place and da da da. But like, it was, bro, we keep coming back to
We
this,
come back full circle again with this crap.
and
I'm okay
it's
with a live
Disney.
action Mulan if they have the voices of particular people like Eddie Murphy as Mushu, Donny Osmond's got to sing, that type of thing, right?
There
Like there
was no
needs to
Mushu
be.
in this one, in the
No, I
remake
know,
too.
because he doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So we need to have a remake of the movie not a remake of the tale. Who cares about the tale?
But you said it was based on the original character,
Of the
and they
tale
wanted it
of the
realistic,
myth.
but they gave her superpowers.
Yes. It's the myth. It's the myth of Mulan or whatever it's called, right? So it's like it's not even but the cartoon's more realistic. Besides the dragon that comes to
Mhm.
life from stone, which is like the only thing that's like mystifying in there. There's none of that in it. But the movie, the live action movie's got more insanity. I just don't get it. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
And it and like even back then, everything looked so bad and fake, and it was just
It's like dancing, it's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's just like a knockoff
but
of
10
that.
times worse. 10
Oof.
times worse. It's like ever since that movie came out, like Hollywood's just been like, "Oh, this is how you shoot Asian fight scenes." We're American. We know the best way to shoot Asian
why
fight
did why
scenes.
why is that a thing? Like, why did they like? Why were we insistent on making like all Asian movies like that? That doesn't make sense to me.
I know. And basically, if you're an Asian actor in America, you're not going to get an award unless you're speaking Chinese and doing kung fu. Name one of the Asian actors who won an Oscar speaking English and not having to do kung fu.
Didn't Crazy Rich Asians win one?
Okay, you corrected me, but they spoke Chinese. They spoke Chinese, other
Some
than
of it, some.
half of the movies in Chinese. All right.
No,
So,
not. I mean, people in Singapore speak English because they're from Singapore.
yeah, they speak the Queen's English.
Yeah,
They all got those.
yeah. So I think English is their national language. Believe it or not, it's not Mandarin.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. You might be right.
Oh,
That's
I
why
know
he
I'm
had
right.
That's why.
I've been there. Do you think I would have gotten around if I didn't know?
I know,
But no,
right?
But the thing is, it's besides that, let's just take that out because that was a recent movie. Like we're going back. I don't see a whole lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a shame because there's a lot of talent. Like you look at what was the one I told you to watch about the love story on the Korean.
I watched it.
What was it called? I forget.
Damn. Uh, Dad brain. We're just having dad brain tonight. It's crazy. I can't even remember the actress's name or the
The movie. It
I
was
know.
based on the director.
And we loved it. It was a great
Yeah, because I
movie.
saw it. I'm like, yo, you got to watch this right away.
It actually won something, I think.
It didn't win
I'm just gonna type in Umbrella Academy because the guy was in there from the first season,
Past
and then
Lives.
Past Lives.
You're
Yes.
not going to guess what I Googled.
What? Oh,
K-
Korean movie.
Korean movie about a couple.
And that
What else
popped
are
up
you expecting
instantly.
from me? I don't understand. Like, I'm trying my best here. I'm working with what I got. That was a great movie. That was probably one of the best
Yes.
movies I've saw last year. Let's be real.
Let's see if it proves me wrong. If it won anything, I don't see. It was nominated, 79 wins, nominated for 2 Oscars, but no Oscars. So I'm technically right. Boom, boom. Like,
They didn't win a single one.
no Oscars nominated, but no Oscar wins. I'm not looking at there's 79 wins from other award. We're not looking at that. No offense to them, but I'm talking
That's
about
probably
in
one of the best
America.
foreign. Is that considered foreign? Is that a foreign or is that a
Yeah,
U.S. like?
I
Okay.
oh well, I don't know. That's a
Well,
good question.
because the actress himself, like the leading actress, is American.
Yeah,
She's not even Korean. I don't think. Her English is
yeah,
perfect. Um,
yeah, because she's been in a lot of stuff. I've seen her and
yeah, the
stuff.
guy is straight from
He's
Korean.
definitely Korean. Yeah,
Shio, whatever, something. Teo Young, I think his name is. Shu.
it was nominated for Best Motion Picture of the Year for 2004 Oscars. Nice.
What? What
And
was?
Best Original Screen. Past Lives.
You said
So
2004?
I mean 2024. I'm tripping. 2024, nominated for Best Original Screenplay and Best Motion Picture.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, but the fact they didn't win is just, come on.
They weren't doing kung fu.
It's kind of like what you said before too. Like the only way a black person would win an Oscar before this whole like checkbox thing happened was you had to be a drug dealer.
Drug dealer, villain of some sort,
Wesley
crackhead.
Snipes won his Oscar, but he was a drug dealer. What
Yep.
about Terrence Howard? Didn't he win one?
Yeah, he was a drug dealer. A pimp. He was a pimp.
He was a pimp, right? And
And a
then he ended
rapper.
up creating AI and saying all that crazy stuff on Joe Rogan's show.
I didn't even listen to that. I was like, already, I've been knew this guy was crazy. I'm not gonna watch that.
But is that true anymore? There's no way that's true, right? Like, I feel like things have
What?
changed since then. You don't have to be a drug dealer or pimp to win an Oscar if you're black.
No, it's changed.
For better or worse.
Mm,
That's only for you to determine, not for me.
I know. I don't know. All I know is it's like the Asians' turn in the minority circle,
But they're
and
hated too. Like, that's the thing.
until they can win an Oscar without speaking a different language and doing kung fu.
But no, like,
You know.
I say hated in a sense that a lot of people don't view them as true minorities because of their socioeconomic status, right? So they're never going to get that benefit of the doubt. They're not going to get that box checked virtually.
Yeah,
Treated Jews the same.
yeah,
It's like Jews, the same thing. Like, oh, you're white, it's fine, whatever. You're rich, who
yeah,
cares? You know.
yeah. So
Um,
maybe we could say it's the Native Americans' time because they're winning Oscars
who
for the movie. I still got to
that
see. It's
Martin
on my list.
Scorsese, the killing of
Yes,
Bald Moon or
Clearwater
Blad Moon or
Flower Moon,
whatever.
Flowers,
Bald Moon, Red Moon, or is it Blue Moon?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, it's not even a color.
Yes.
Wait, did she win? Or I thought she was nominated.
I thought she won. She won.
I don't think she won, bro.
Yo, look it up right now. I remember her
All right,
talking
this
about
was
her
last year's
speech.
Oscars. Wait, the Oscars for this year hasn't happened yet, right? Or
I
they
don't
have?
think so. Jeez, this movie's 3.5 hours. Dear Lord. What am
Okay,
I
so it
doing?
did happen. You ready? The woman who won was Davine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers. It wasn't that chick that you just said from Killing Flower Moon. So
No, she
the
won.
movie that
Lily
won was
Gladstone.
Oppenheimer. Cillian Murphy, Emma Stone, Chris Nolan, Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh,
Davine or
nominee.
Divine Joy Randolph won.
Wait, this only showing me nominees. Oh, so it didn't win any Oscars.
The Holdover was pretty good too.
Oh,
That was a good movie. No, I don't think it
yeah,
did.
it didn't win. Oh, so why did she talk about giving a speech? I thought it won something so that
I
everybody
think
could
she
go on
was doing the
stage.
speech because remember when Marlon, well, we weren't alive, but Marlon Brando won an Oscar like forever ago, right? And he didn't show up to
Right.
the Oscars in protest against the treatment of
He
American
sent.
Indians. And he
Yeah,
sent that chick who wasn't even a real American Indian until she was on her
we
deathbed and
found
she
out
admitted
later.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she found out later. And that's what happened. So I think that was part of the reason why was that they had one person with the spotlight just ruin it for everyone else for so long.
Uh oh yeah, so she didn't win. I thought she was nominated though for best
She
leading
was nominated.
actress.
I think she was the first one in a long time. Emma Stone
Yeah.
winning. She's got two of them, man. That's pretty impressive, and she's not even that old.
What did she win for?
Well, she won La La Land the first time, and the second time she won was for um, Poor Things.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, she's 35.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. For La La Land? I mean,
You remember that
it
with
was a good
Ryan
movie.
Gosling?
Yeah, it was a good movie, but she won for that. My bad.
I mean, look at the
Uh,
nominees then.
I know.
I'm
I
serious.
know. Yeah.
Well,
But my nomads, this was another good one. I hope you learned something. If you didn't,
oh well.
tune in next time. Oh
We'll
well.
talk about Highlander. You'll learn some things.
Yeah, peace. Be creative.